cold air that's just like about ready to take us all out. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Delhi Township Board of Trustees meeting for January the 14th of 2015. Happy New Year. We will begin first with our usual moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's moment of silence is to offer prayers of support to the Danny Whittestetter family, who recently lost Lisa Whittestetter. And Lisa not only was a wife and a mother, but she was also a wonderful Delhi resident, having served as the Delhi Civic Association president. So tonight's moment of silence we dedicate to the memory of Lisa Whittestetter and the support of Dan Whittistetter's family. Let's take the moment and then have the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Before we begin with motions for consideration, I would just like to say that it's been a pleasure and an honor to serve as president of the board for the past year. And as is our usual routine, we will be passing the gavel tonight and starting with a new president of the board. So I'd like to take a moment to say thank you and to also congratulate Will Oswald on accepting the president of the board for the year 2015. Mr. Luby, may I have motions for consideration?
Motion 2015-001, appoint trustee William F. Oswald Jr. as president of the Board of Trustees for 2015.
I move motion 2015-001.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations, President Oswald.
Thank you.
We didn't rehearse that part. What do you need?
All right. Mr. Luby.
Motion 2015-002, appoint trustee Cheryl A. Seavey as vice president of the Board of Trustees for 2015.
I move motion 2015-002 to appoint trustee Cheryl A. Seavey as vice president of the Board of Trustees.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2015-003, approve the minutes of the regular Board of Trustee meeting held on December 22nd, 2014, and dispense with the reading.
I'll move motion 2015-003 to approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2015-004, approve bills for payment.
I'll move motion 2015-004 to approve bills for payment.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2015-005, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending December 23rd, 2014.
I'll move motion 2015-005 to approve the payment of overtime.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Motion passes.
Motion 2015-006, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending January 6, 2015.
I'll move motion 2015-006 to approve overtime for pay period January 6, 2015.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. I don't believe there's any presentations tonight, so we'll move on to trustee correspondence. Trustee Seavey.
Couple of things. First, congratulations to President Oswald for 2015. And then also, I'd like to acknowledge a very special birthday girl, and that is Bert Brothers, who's currently president of the Delhi Seniors, celebrated her 90th birthday today. So from all of us on the board, happy birthday, Bert Brothers.
Trustee Klug.
Congratulations, Will. You have big shoes to fill.
And I just want to say thank you to my fellow trustees for making me president of the board. And just know that we have a lot going on this year. One of our priorities is obviously economic development, but in conjunction, we're obviously going to update the zoning code. We're going to maintain our safety services, maintain our roads. We're building a new firehouse, so we have a lot going on. We're going to continue forward, especially with our priority economic development, which you'll hear more about. So thank you again. Report from the fiscal officer.
The 2015 Financial Advisory Board will have their first meeting of the year on Tuesday, January 20th, 2015 at 6 p.m. It will set the organizational structure for 2015 and review the final 2015 adopted budget and ending 2014 finances. The 2015 Financial Advisory Board still has 2 openings. Please immediately submit a letter of interest, a resume, or application to Pete Landrum, the Township Administrator. We'll also be having an opening of requests for qualifications of the Delhi Township Strategic Redevelopment Plan. The first one is from Glazer Works. Bayer and Becker. Development Concepts, Inc. MKSK. McBride, Dale Clarion. Ravel. Kaiser Consulting Group. Development Planning, Inc. Edge. Stantec. OHM. And H3 Studio. All right, we have motion 2015-007. Refer the submitted proposals submitted as part of the request for qualifications authorized in Resolution 2014-208 for architectural and land use planning services in connection with the preparation of plans and recommendations for the Delhi Township Strategic Redevelopment Plan to the Review Committee consisting of the Fiscal Officer, Township Administrator, Catherine Fierick, and Thomas Stahlhaber for evaluation.
I move motion 2015007 to refer the submitted proposals to the committee.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes. There are no public hearings tonight. I don't believe there's any reports from department heads, so Mr. Luby will have reading of the resolutions.
Resolution 2015-001, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the township by the Township Administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I move and introduce the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-002, resolution requesting the county auditor to make advance payments of taxes pursuant to revised code 321.34 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
Yes, this resolution is just a standard annual. This allows the township to go ahead and get an advance, of course tax-free, of our levy funding from the auditor, and then when the taxes are actually paid, a settlement, it's settled up. But this is a way of getting our money free of charge in advance of tax day, so to speak.
I move dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-003, resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application to the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration, requesting funding for services related to the 2015 Delhi Township Strategic Redevelopment Plan, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute the submission documents and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution, Ms. Fierick?
Yes, this is just a grant application in connection with the RFQs that we received today. We are in conversation with the United States Economic Development Administration, which is part of the Department of Commerce. We're seeking grant funding for reimbursement of our expenses in this project, as we believe that it does hold the potential for a regional catalyst for economic development purposes. The grant, if it's approved, if it's accepted through the EDA, would reimburse up to 50%, potentially up to 80%, but we're seeking clarification on that, of expenses towards this project.
And we may not know for 2 to 3 months if we get the grant.
Likely not. I've been informed that the window of notification will probably be about 3 months. Anything that is expended on the project prior to that time will come at the township's expense.
Any questions?
I move to dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-004, resolution authorizing the administrator to investigate the creation of a waste disposal district and to cooperate with other townships in this process and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
Yes, we have been in conversations. Specifically, the township reached out, Coleraine Township reached out to Delhi, Green, Anderson, all the local townships. They are wanting to do basically it's a trash district where the township can basically go out for bids on the cost that residents pay for their trash. We've seen the average of in Delhi is probably about $21, $22 for trash per resident. Some of the other townships have already done, I think it's Sims has already performed such a process, and their residents pay for trash and curbside recycling $13 a month. We are doing this as part of, this authorizes me to investigate, to potentially looking at going out for bid. We'll do other resolutions if needed, and I think public hearings as needed. This in no way obligates us in any manner. If we want to stop and not participate, we can. But this is just us looking at it, and we will take some time when we get to a point to get citizens' feedback. We have nothing to lose by moving forward and seeing what there is, because we see a lot of good potential of saving residents some okay, it's $100 and some a year, but that's $100 and some a year. The way I look at it, if I took $100 and handed it to you, would you say no thank you? But plus curbside recycling as well, which would help us tremendously as well. So again, this resolution just authorizes us to investigate it. We'll come back if to authorize any other actions.
Trustee Klug.
Pete, do you know with Sims, they're doing it themselves, or are they contracting with somebody?
They're, as far as the trash pickup itself?
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe, they're having somebody else pick up the trash. That's all part of the bid process of what you want. You can have in your bid specs, this is all the part of the process we're doing, but you can have the bid process, the township can be as involved as it wants to be or not want to be. And what I mean by that is the collection of the fees and all that. Some of them hire waterworks to do the processing, and then waterworks, I think we'll investigate further, but from what I'm hearing, and I would desire, we don't have staff to even do processing or anything. You can bid it out that the vendor does all the billing and keeps up with their record keeping and so forth, and we just become the middleman to get the best price for the residents, and other than that, we're out of it. But we'll have those further discussions as we go. We can bid it out several different options as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Seavey.
Yeah, I have one question. If we would go forward with this and we make a selection, this is not similar to gas and electric where you can opt out. This is all or none. There is no choice in this after the township declares that we're a waste removal district. Is that correct?
Correct. You could not opt out. The only opt-out that we're kind of discussing this is that to find out what the policies of the individual vendor would be. But if somebody wanted to opt out, their opt-out would be they don't pay their bill. They don't, and what would happen is, like, if you don't pay your electric bill, it gets shut off. So then your trash pickup gets shut off and you don't have it anymore. But we would want to really investigate that to make sure, okay, does that go on somebody's credit then if they do that, or, all those, what's the downside of that? But you're right, it's not an aggregation. What this does, though, too, it allows the township to dictate when trash is picked up, what hour, we've been getting complaints that some trash trucks have been coming around at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, we could say no trash pickups before 6, or, we could set some terms, and you wouldn't have 3 different trash trucks going down the same road. You'd have one. So there are some positiveness that we could set within the bid specs and of what criteria we want.
And the residents would still have recycling, but it would be curbside, and we would discontinue the line of recycling bins?
Or severely limit it, yes. It would definitely, we would still have a recycling program because based on our community, we would still receive grant funding for the recycle. So then we could actually take the funding that is paying for dumpsters, and we're having the general fund having to offset it because it's not paying for itself. If we limit our dumpsters and do not have as many, we could actually do educational and other recycling programs instead of just paying for dumpsters. So that would be another way of paying for some actual real recycling things besides dumpsters themselves.
So even though Rumpke is our current provider, if they win the bid, we may still have Rumpke.
Yes, to the homeowner, if we do it the way where the vendor does the billing and everything, it would be really seamless unless they didn't have Rumpke. Say if Rumpke would get it. To be quite honest, from the experience of what they're looking at, more than likely, I mean, we don't know, but it looks like Rumpke would probably be very competitive for the services. So it's a good chance that they would be the winner of the bids, but we don't know that. But Colerain's probably going to do this first because they're a little bit ahead of us. It may be, we have to see who all is really going to, that's why this is just investigation. We have to see if Green's really interested, Anderson Township is really interested, in any of the other townships. We kind of want to go in together, so the bigger we are, the better the pricing can be. But we have seen, like I said, $13, that's almost $9, $10 a month savings times 12 months. And curbside recycling, so.
Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, we're good. I move dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-005, resolution certifying violation abatement expenses at 437 Wilkie Drive to the county auditor for assessment and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this
Any-
resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move we dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-006, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4333 Skylark Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Roach.
Thank you, Trustee Oswald. We received a complaint of accumulated debris at this address. We issued orders with no compliance. Upon our inspection today, the sofa is still there. So we're requesting your board declare this property a nuisance so we can address this violation with our nuisance procedures.
Tony, is it occupied?
It is an occupied property, Trustee Klug.
I move we dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-007, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 196 Pedretti Road and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Roach.
Thank you, Trustee Oswald. We received a complaint at this occupied address of accumulated debris. We issued order letters. Today it still exists on our inspection, so we're requesting your board declare this property a nuisance so we can address this violation with our nuisance procedure.
Is it occupied?
It is occupied.
I move we dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-008, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5258 Rapid Run Road and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution? Mr. Roach.
Thank you, Trustee Oswald. We received a complaint at this vacant address on Rapid Run. We issued an order letter with no compliance. Upon our inspection today, all the debris is still there, so we're requesting your board declare this property a nuisance so we can address this violation with our nuisance procedure.
Is it occupied?
It's vacant.
It's vacant. Okay. I move we dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-009, resolution entering into two collective bargaining agreements with the Delhi Police Association for members within the bargaining units and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move we dispense with second reading.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-010, resolution declaring intent to conduct an internet auction for the sale of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit township personal property, effective until December 31st, 2015, and dispensing with the second reading.
Introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Landrum.
Yes, this is an annual procedure that we will do. This gives us the ability to use basically gov deals that we use to put property that has been declared by the board. So the next procedure of this doesn't do anything with the property. So anytime in the future this year that we will have further declaring excess property, those will allow, when you do that, to us to use gov deals. So this is just an annual thing that's required for notification that we do use gov deals.
I move we dispense with second reading.
I second the motion.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Next is for citizens' comment. I have one signed in. Tony Capel is going to talk about the Delhi Business Association.
Thank you, trustees. I just want to introduce myself. I am Tony Capel. As of this morning, thanks to Mr. Oswald, I was sworn in as the new Delhi Business Association president. It's my honor to represent the businesses of Delhi for the near future, and I want to let everybody know that if they do have any questions, they can contact me with any business association information questions. Love to hear from the community about any issues or questions they might have. We look forward to growing, making the business association stronger, and continuing our relationship with the Township of Delhi. We appreciate all the help that we get from the trustees, and look forward to that continued relationship.
And you've already reached out to Ms. Furyk and spoke with her various items?
Absolutely. I think she'll probably get tired of me over the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Luby, announcement of community events.
The Delhi Branch Library will have Music of the Renaissance with Catechoustic Consort. It will be Monday, January 26, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Branch Library at 5095 Foley Road. This event is open to the public. Join the Catechoustic Consort for a concert of Renaissance music. To learn more about this event or what the library has to offer, please call 369-6019 or visit their website at www.cincinnatilibrary.org/branches/Delhi. The Delhi Civic Association first meeting of the year will be Thursday, February 5th, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Park Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. The public is invited to attend to learn more about the Civic Association's plans and activities for 2015. To learn more, please visit their website at www.delhicivicassociation.org. That's it.
There is need for executive session. Mr. Luby, can we have the motion?
Motion 2015-008 to retire to executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes and to consider the appointment, employment, promotion, or compensation of a public employee.
I move motion 2015-008 to retire to executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes and to consider the appointment, employment, promotion, or compensation of a public employee.
I second the motion to retire to executive session.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Motion passes. That concludes our meeting for tonight. The next meeting will be Wednesday, January 28th, 2015. So everyone have a good night. Thank you.